Oof, y'all can see the bow. Oh gosh, yeah, it's looking a little more messy than usual up there. I mean, than usual. Hi, hello everyone. So it's been a long day today, and it's already, excuse me, well into the evening. And I guess there's some interesting things that I don't know if noticing is quite the word. There's some interesting things that I've been noticing, number one, some interesting things that I've been feeling, number two. Oh my gosh, I might do a self read today. I was going to pull a few cards to see about the full moon, Scorpio, lunar eclipse. Boom. There we go. I think I'll do that too. This is the first time I've had Starbucks in like 3 weeks, I think. And I'm loving it. I'm retrograding back to Starbucks. Speaking of retrogrades, I had a dream last night that I had reached out to somebody. And then I almost I feel like I didn't even do it. All right, Holly. I feel like I didn't reach out. I feel like I did, but I was like, why did I do that? And then I was just like, okay, yeah, that was a mistake. But Mercury is retrograde now. So who knows? Um, but I guess I've been noticing um, not confluence. It's not the confluence of desire. Because my card for this month is the Ten of Wands. You see that? I'll take that. Oh, okay. Well, so this is the pre whatever I'm gonna do. The pre whatever first 10 to 20 to hour of the video. Embodying hope, a fount of truth, a tongue of light. Two of clubs. With an explosive vision, a nurturing light, and burning passion. Eight of hearts at the bottom. Um, but I guess I've been noticing. So what was I saying? My card this month is the Ten of Wands in the Wide Unknown Tarot, clarified by the Son of Wands. And so it was yesterday, I think at some point. It almost feels like, and it doesn't feel necessarily new. It doesn't necessarily feel like a new energy, or it doesn't necessarily feel groundbreaking. But it's almost like events are happening, things are happening to support or encourage certain desires, if that makes sense. And it feels like it can happen in a harmonious way where it's very like it's still kind of a little pushy maybe, but it's not necessarily coming through in a way of challenge. And then there's a way where it's coming through in a way of challenge. Um, and I just found that one out, and I think they're related last night. Um, but it's almost like maybe there's a desire, and then things happen around that. So, for instance, um, I was kind of sort of in my head for a good week and a half to 2 weeks about what I want to do moving forward, and about how oftentimes I kind of sort of just go with the flow, and I never necessarily flow in a direction of like my greatest passion. And I've been feeling recently again like I don't mind the work that I do, but it's not something that I'm passionate about. And I would kind of like to do work that I'm passionate about. I think, you know. And then I was like, well, what am I passionate about? Like, what work would I want to do? Do I even want to work? Do I want to not work? And so one day I got out of my head enough to be in the moment. And when I was in the moment, I was content. And I was like, you know what? For now, I'm content where I am. And then the next day, come to find out, a lot of the motivators to why I wanted to move a little bit, I want to say prematurely, but instead of prematurely, I'll say sooner. Um, I found out that one of the main reasons why I wanted to move sooner, I didn't have to worry about. Like, I didn't want to have to be by myself and do everything. And I found out the day after, I was like, you know what? I'm content here. So my desire is to stay. And I kind of knew that it was. I wasn't ready to accept that it was, but I knew that it was. Maybe I wasn't ready to accept it because I didn't want to do everything by myself. But the next day, I find out I won't be alone. I was like, okay, like funny how that worked out. Um, and it's just like there are a few people in my life, the Kali, not Kali, Shiva, the Shiva people. I'm calling them Shiva people because in the space of loss or destruction, beautiful things are growing. Um, and it's so funny because it was like at the beginning of the year, one of my coworkers was like, I'm really ready to move. And she was like, she wants to move. She wants a pay increase. She wants all of this stuff. She wants to go somewhere where it's warmer. The acts of Shiva falls or Kali dances her dance, our life happens. We get some not great news, but in the wake of that, she gets a lot of what she wanted and more. um, and then with somebody else, it's like what was originally a challenging situation and what was going to be a difficult conversation ended up turning into an opportunity bigger than he may have even imagined at that point in time, which gets him where he wants to be a lot quicker, but not without the work and the effort. And I almost want to say ethics, but not without the work that needs to be done to get there. Um, and then, so that was that like more positive sort of like, um, it's not concerted or maybe collaborative with that collaborative harmonious sort of like things happening and weaving into like better and better and better. On the other hand, last night I heard about someone who is on a similar trajectory, excuse me, of better, but I guess that Shiva Kali um, was a lot less great for them. And so it ends up being something that they have to do. So the choice is removed, but it's something that they still ultimately wanted for themselves anyway, wanted or needed. So, and then there's me. I'll figure it out. I think even for myself, I guess what I wanted most for myself was to have a sort of sense of independence because of with my eyes and everything else. I never thought I'd have an adult life where I could be independent. Um, and so for me, it's been because of situations that I'm forced into, which it sounds accurate for me. But because of situations that I've been forced into, I've learned that my limitations are no longer my limitations. I learned that I can do a lot more than I ever would have been comfortable with just doing. Um, and so, in that, now it leads to even more choice. And that choice or that freedom, that liberation has been interesting, I guess, to deal with. Because, like I said, I feel like I've never, like, there are some things that I wanted to do that I went for, but I'm not necessarily used to following passions and pursuing things. I've been doing it more and more over the past few years in different areas and arenas in my life. But also at the same time, it's like to see the scale of opportunity swing to the unimaginable, or not the unimaginable, but to the miraculous. But then to be in a position where it's like I don't know if that's what I want. And for me, it plays on back in January, in February. It's like it's okay for dreams to change, and so there's opportunity, or there's the glimpse of opportunity that is still amazing, and that I guess there's a large part of me that more than anything can recognize what it would mean to a previous version of me. But for some reason I'm just like not excited about it. I'm not super passionate about it, and I thought like it makes all the sense in the world for me to be. And so that was another reason why I'm like, well, what do I actually want? If I don't want to do that and I don't want to do what I'm doing now, and when I'm introduced to opportunities that are in the field of what I do want to do, and I still like, maybe I'm just like my mother and I'm never satisfied. um, but no. Who was this? A displacement replaced unintended and unforeseen consequences and a need for wisdom. The two of spades. Unintended and unforeseen consequences is interesting. And I feel like I have sort of sporadically and almost randomly, maybe it's not random, I'm not really following the transits or anything because I'm like, there's so much going on. And I was in the space of my Saturn return, and Saturn's going to retrograde and return for me, and then it's going to go direct and return for me. But more than anything, it's just the changing of circumstances. Circumstances have shifted drastically, and well, things are different. So that's what's been going on in my world and what I've been observing in worlds adjacent to mine, which I think is very interesting. And I love to see it personally. So that's what's been happening in the realm of earth, in the realm of water and maybe air and potentially fire. Um, lately, and I sent Reem a voice note about it earlier. I don't think she got to it yet, but one second. Sorry, not sorry. What was I talking about? Yeah, that's just it's water and air and fire. It's all of the above for me. And I guess just like kind of low key because of some of the conversation that bits and pieces of the conversation, I'm sure, that I've been hearing, and just with the way that things seem to be in general, um, I almost wonder if, oof, it's fine. Maybe later. Um, so I'm just gonna pull one of these for me to wrap all of that up. Ace of Spades. I think this might be the man. It's either the man or the sun. And I'm curious. So this would be quicker. I'm going to Google it. The Norman Playing Card Associations. Thank you. Oh, wow. This is convenient. So the Ace of Spades is the woman. Oof, that is not the man. The Ace of Diamonds is the sun. The Ace of Hearts is the man. So the woman comes out. It's tapping into the seed of all creation, understanding what predates all, and things that must remain in the dark. Is the card that came out with the numbers cut off because I was rushing through making this, and the bottom is the Three of Hearts, where form and function align, the power of words to brighten and terraform. 55, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2 on the Three of Hearts. So this is an Empress and Moon energy, which is interesting because it's things that must remain in the dark and the seed of all creation. Okay. It's been an interesting time, to say the least, in more ways than I care for, in some ways. And in other ways, I've also found myself extremely grateful for the unfolding of events up until this point. And also, again, in everything that I'm finding myself capable of, when for the longest time I had no reason to believe I would be. Um, of course, it makes me like extra grateful and appreciative of a whole bunch of stuff, but mostly me for doing everything that I needed to do. Not mostly me, but I also have to appreciate me for actually doing the things that I need to do. So, boom. Okay. I guess I'm gonna have Siri, since I'm using the Diceology cards, Siri's gonna say the number. I'm gonna effectively roll a D4. Can I do Hey Siri, roll a D4.
It's 2.
Oh snap! Siri can roll dice. Oh, that changes the game. I'm gonna get 2 cards. Okay. Hey Siri, roll a D6.
5.
Hey Siri, roll a D20.
Rolling. It's 7 this time.
What? 2, 5, and 7. 2, 5, and 7 is a 7, 7. There was 77 on that card. Is 77 the Sage of Souls? I think that's the Sage of Souls on. Hold up. I am going to need this. I think that is the Sage of Souls that was on that Ace of Spades, which is a detail that I could have stood to get in the moment. And I was just like, oh, I'll just look over here. Excuse me. Yawns happen constantly. It's the Pisces in me. Or maybe it's the Taurus in me. Or maybe it's the both in me. No, I don't need this right now. I don't remember. Oh, snap. Am I not going to be able to access those notebooks? I'm going to have to download them because I'm going to forget. What was that? What is the ace? The ace of spades should be gray one, I think. I think it's gray one. Yeah, yeah. So it's the Sage of Souls, the Moon, Taurus, the third eye, the root, and the element of air, which is interesting. Sage of Souls came out, which is, I mean, I did say it was feeling kind of all of the above, except Earth E. Well, anyway. So back to whatever I was doing before that. I don't even know why I took a break to talk about the Sage of Souls. Excuse me. Oh, because the 7. 2 plus 5 is 7, and then there was a 7, which is a 14, which is a 5. Is this 2 cards? It is. 2 cards. The Black Joker and the Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts is... Gotta look that one up. The Stork. Okay. The Joker, prophetic dreams, inspired action, tapping into the other side. The Queen of Hearts, a candle burning on both ends, inversion, a revelation of self and accountability. I don't know what that is. Siri said 5. What would 5 be? I have 3 drawers. It could be the 5th deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 7th card. We're gonna see. I guess I could talk about it and try to explain it, but if a card could do it, then I wouldn't have to not waste my time. But so, not including the card at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The world. But this is the first world. This doesn't help. I feel like I got this mental image that I don't know how to communicate. Like I don't understand it. Ooh, it's wet. There goes my matcha lemonade. Oh, it was so good. I feel like I almost had a thought. It feels like with the candle burning on both ends, it feels like two things that are coming in to meet the self. And then when they align with the self, something happens. Almost like an eclipse. Because in an eclipse, it's like the sun, the moon, and the earth align in whatever configuration they align in, be it solar or lunar. But it's like something is born in the eclipse. It's like that moment is the release. A revelation of self. Okay, yeah. Because there's another card. I think it's like, what was it? A revelation of self that is yet to be realized or something like that. I don't get it. I feel like I might get like vertigo. Just trying to like follow this. So it almost feels like maybe there will be experiences that we have that it's not that they wake us up. It feels like circumstances, events, or experiences that put us in a position to almost be present in a way that maybe we haven't been before. To almost make a choice or decision or take control of our lives in a way that we hadn't yet to this point or to that point. And in that moment, there's something about the self that we realize. It just feels like it's one of those moments where we're changed forever. But I feel like it's happening in a way that I don't understand. And it does make me slightly nauseous. Not physically nauseous, but like energy. There's a feeling of nausea here. Like but not like necessarily an anxious nauseous. And it's all in that energy of like inversion. We'll flip a coin. If Siri says tails, I'll do another one. Is my phone closed? Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Heads.
Oh, so I guess I'm not doing another one. If Siri says tails, I'll keep reading into it. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
It's heads this time.
So I won't keep reading into it. So if Siri says heads, then this video is over. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
It's tails this time.
Ah. So it's not over. So what do I do if I don't do anything else and if I don't read into it, but the video isn't over? Then I guess I keep on this line. I almost wonder if it's related to everything I've already. Hey Siri, yes or no?
It's both yes and no, and neither.
What? So my question was like, is this collective? So it's both collective and not collective and neither. Both yes and no and neither. Oh, well that actually makes sense. Um Maybe it's a opportunity. Because for it to be both collective, not collective, and neither, it feels like the neither is like this is just an energy that's passing through. And with it being not collective, it's us in our own individual lives, sort of making choices and decisions that put us in various aspects to this wave that is passing through. But for it to be collective, it's like it's both and neither, which is interesting because it feels like divine non-intervention. And that's interesting. Divine non-intervention is just like, well, here's an opportunity if you want to take it. Now I'm tempted to see, I'll do it. I'm gonna pull before and after the other world card to see what the energy is up and we're right here. Oh, it's between the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. But it looks like she's walking away from the Page of Cups and towards the Page of Wands. And that's divine non intervention. It feels like if it were like if she were walking towards the Page of Cups, it would be more like divine intervention. Uh, it also feels like it speaks to something that's even more subtle than the voice of the divine is, but it's the inner voice. And that would make sense. The innermost voice. Because it's easier. It's like it's easy for us to hear our inner voice in terms of like it being our conscience or it being the thing that we like want to do, it being that conversation that we have with ourselves inside of our mind. If you are the type of person that has that conversation, that internal dialogue, because some people don't. Um, and then it feels like less easy than that is us hearing the voice of the divine, which is like the angel on your shoulder, I guess. Um, where it's like it's kind of sort of an internal dialogue, but it's an internal dialogue with not you. I hope this makes sense. Because there's like the purely I internal dialogue, or like the egoic, I guess, internal dialogue with you and you, sort of like going back and like, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And like, if I do this, then da 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 might happen, and if I do that, then da 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 might happen. It feels like the voice of the divine is more like, hey, like you should do this, go here. It like it drops these seeds, and then we might question like, but like, why would I do that? Where did this thought come from? It's like, and then it's like, just trust it. Something good is going to happen, or something that needs to unfold will unfold in this way. Should you do this or whatever? Like, that's the voice of the divine, where it's not the self and the self. But it feels like even further than that is the voice of the innermost self. And that's the voice that's hardest for us to connect to. Maybe not for some people, but that's how it's reading and that's how it's feeling. Like we can have that surface level, more egoic conversation with ourselves. Then there's the level of intuition that like we hear the voice of the divine, but like even lower than that is the voice of the like capital I, the self, um, the center of the self. And that's why I use the word like egoic for the first one, because they're both the self, but the ego self is like more surface level. It's less, you don't have to dig as deep to find it. It's like you, as you are, as you would talk to anybody else, but you're talking to yourself. And so shifting from the page of cups to the page of wands feels like taking that conversation to that deepest level with the capital I, the center of the self, the eternal witness. And again, it's like it's not surprising because um that's sort of been a theme, I guess, a thread between readings. But maybe that's why it feels like the self is sort of changed after this. And irreversible might be a better word than irreparable. Changed in irreparable ways. That feels ominous. Um, so I guess in some ways, see, it even feels different than us becoming our higher selves because higher feels more outer. I don't know. And the Sage of Souls did just pop up in that Ace of Spades. What are these? What is that? This is the gold five. That's why I moved my phone. That's the two. The two of souls and Pisces. Pisces and the two of souls with the Hierophant and the High Priestess. Okay, that explains it. The Hierophant and the High Priestess explains it. The Two of Souls and Pisces explains it. With Capricorn and Gemini, the crown, the third eye, the solar plexus twice, and then the elements of water and air. Water and fire, sorry. Fire and water would also explain it. Literally fire and water right here. Oof. Oh, you can't see it. Fire and water. These are the elements of the cards. And look, no, water is under fire and fire is under water. Fire Underwater is that episode of SpongeBob with the chocolate bar when Patrick was like, wait, but if we're underwater, then how is there a and the fire went out? What do they say? A drop of doubt will wipe it out or something like that. So it's a space that might not entirely make logical sense. See, but also with this page of wands, it feels like this page of wands is just learning how to walk. And this page of cups is more or less, it feels like the page of cups has just been standing here talking to the fish, that there hasn't necessarily been any movement. And so I guess communication is a two-way street, right? And I say that because it feels like maybe communicating with the divine in a deeper way, or a different relationship with intuition. No, so it feels like intuition is a more surface level, um what's the word, interaction than this. It's like conversation can go deeper than intuition, or it can be more involved than just mere intuition. um like intuition is listening, but it's not necessarily conversing. So there isn't necessarily a back and forth when it's just our intuition, it's us listening. And so, in a way, it's us being given a chance and opportunity to speak and be listened to, not in a way that we never had it before, but maybe it's because the self is different. What's at the bottom of the deck? I don't think I looked. Oh, the bottom of the deck is the Ten of Clubs, which is the Ten of Wands, which is what I started talking about. All of this about the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Wands. But anyway, what's the Ten of Clubs? The Ten of Clubs is the Bear. Bear feels like it's coming out of hibernation with this Page of Wands learning to walk. It feels accurate. Nearly awakened hidden power, breath that takes the shape of one's truest desires, and a commitment to self. Now, this one is actually the Four of Souls. This is another one that's cut off. I would reprint this deck, but I'm like, if I'm gonna redo these, I'd rather make new cards. I mean, it would be nice to have the numbers completely visible on all of them, but at the same time, this is the gold 8. No, is that not gold? That's gold. Hello, and that's 8. I'm confused. Maybe it's in the purple. Yeah, this is totally gold. Okay, I got it as purple. I mean, to be fair, the purple and the gold are very, very, very close in color. Um, so yeah, this is the Four of Souls, whereas we just had the 2. That's the 65. Yep, 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 yep. The Four of Souls is interesting. So the Two of Souls takes us from this. See, that's the candle burning on both ends. The candle burning on both ends are these two things in that Two of Souls before they meet in the middle. The Four would be, it's like it's boxed in. I want to do it like this. I don't know. Like, that's the box. There we go. I don't know why with pinkies. Um, with it being boxed in, it's almost like we, it's like a space that we know how to access. It's a way of being that we know how to. It takes me back to the Page of Wands learning to walk. It's a way of thinking and processing things and existing in moments that we are able to more easily reach or get to, but it isn't still like it's still learning in that space, which is not surprising because no one's an instant master at anything. Um, s- uh, well, and it could. What was the Susient? Susiance, the word of the day. It was to like be at peace no matter what happens. This is the building of that Susiance, but that's like the inside being shielded from the outside, but stuff still happens inside that building. And I believe we have the element of fire again. Let me check. Yeah, the element of fire is here again. Now it's the throat and the third eye with the magician and the Scorpio. So we got the magician, the high priestess, and the hierophant. Well, we have the hierophant and the high priestess, and at the bottom of the deck is the magician. Which again, it's like it feels like that's us learning to contextualize those conversations that happen, and then through the power of inspired action, because why not? It's already there. Um, but it's like it tunes into that conversation. It becomes a part of the conversation, and then there are things that it does to make things happen because it's the magician at the bottom of the deck, right? Then we have the crown. We got the third eye twice, the crown, the throat, and the solar plexus. Two fires in the water. And again, this fire card is on the side of the Page of Cups. And so maybe with that, it's like it's the space that the divine has been putting us in for a hot minute. It's a rebirth of the self. Like we have the potential to be reborn. Maybe that's why it's like there's no going back. And so I guess with one of the things that I asked myself, one of the things that I ask myself quite often, honestly, especially whenever I go through an experience, is what would it take for us to get to a certain point? Like, are we the type of individual that has to experience something harrowing to move in a certain direction? Or are we the type of individual who, when given an opportunity, will seize it? Are we the type of individual when our intuition is like, hey, like, let's not do this anymore, let's do this other thing, that we listen or not? And it's like it feels like it's innately a judgment free space because it's not to judge, it's to move, right? It's just like that's what it takes. Sometimes it's good though. It's also interesting that with the world we have fixed energy because this is a fixed eclipse. Sun in Taurus, fixed Earth. Moon in Scorpio, fixed water. Is anything in Saturn is in Aquarius? I don't think anything is in Leo. Is he? Oh, why did you shift? Well, it's not going to be extremely close to the North Node, but it's like decently close to the North Node. Uranus is also in Taurus, so that makes sense. Pallas is in Taurus, but she's not, as far as I know, and can see at a quick glance. She's trying, or she's sextiling Juno, but like it doesn't seem like she's in major aspect because she's early Taurus. She's 6 degrees. This is like 26 degrees, um, 25 degrees. Right. Nothing is in Leo. Leo is empty. Did I already read this cross? I'm gonna read the Sabian's Zodiac by symbols or whatever. The Sabian symbols and what this book has to say about it. More so to see if it adds anything, but just because it's fun. It feels like Leo being empty. My astrology is I have limited interest in astrology, as I've talked about before. But with the T square, I think. Why was I looking 23 to 24 degrees of fixed signs? But the T square, I think the energy that's not a part of the square holds something. Like it's a event point for those energies, but we'll see. So 25 to 26 degrees of the fixed signs. We got Taurus, a Spaniard serenading his senorita. Scorpio, Indians making camp. Leo, a rainbow. Aquarius, a hydrometer. So we have the sun and the north node in a Spaniard serenading his senorita. The moon and the south node, Indians making camp. Saturn is near a hydrometer, and nothing is in the rainbow. Aquarius's hydrometer is defined as a tool that measures the relative density of liquids based on the concept of buoyancy. Leo's rainbows appear when light moves through rain or other refractive medium such as a prism. The water-borne rainbow would measure as most buoyant on a hydrometer, in effect, a metaphor for joy or lightness if water represents emotions. Taurus's romance is at the buoyant end of the scale of human relationships, and the serenade expresses love in song. Scorpio symbol represents the tribe settling down, tribe stability. The Taurus Scorpio pair show evolution from romance to family, from love's rosy perspectives to family practicalities and organization. Camping together is a measure of commitment, and camping is best done near a water source to refresh ourselves before moving on again. A Scorpio Aquarius pair makes sense when we check our emotional hydrometer. We could camp and rest if we feel tired or need to feel secure or simply to enjoy this place for longer. This cross has sets of pairs. Leo's rainbow and Taurus's romance pair charmingly. Scorpio's camp and Aquarius's hydrometer pair in practicality. Another set could be the opposing lightness and denser practicality of Taurus Scorpio's relationships and Leo Aquarius's phenomena and its measurement. The cross could also mean that the sum is more than the parts. A couple, Taurus, creates a tribe, Scorpio. A rainbow, Leo, is more than mere water and light, Aquarius. And that's where I'm gonna end this. So I hope y'all have. Oh, I guess I'll do final cards. I'll do final cards. Um. Oh, that's something being greater than the sum of its parts. So I was showering yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday. And well, yeah, it was probably yesterday. There's something else that's been heavy. The water and air and fire thing that I didn't talk about. Um, so I was thinking about the smoky mirror and the fire and flow that came under it, and how specifically, if you've watched Steven Universe, it's Garnet. Um, so there are some things that we can understand about. So with the masculine and feminine, and then the neither masculine nor feminine, and both, it's yes and no and neither. It's like there are things about the child. Oh, the child is perfect. There are things about a child that we would be able to infer based on who its mother is and based on who its father is. And if we know the mother and father of the child, we can get an idea of how the child might act, behave, might look because of genetics and stuff like that, right? But at the same time, that child is its own being. And so there may be things that it has that neither its mother nor father had through sheer genes that are recessive, right? So it's something that the father or the mother would have carried, but wouldn't necessarily have been visible or expressed. Um, Also, in anything, there's a chance for things to just randomly go differently. So maybe, what is it? Science. Sagittarius, it doesn't matter. I'll get lost. Okay. It's just things randomly happen. Spontaneous mutagenesis and processes, sometimes mistakes happen. Mistakes. Um, Things can just be different. And so the child could have something that neither parent has, just through sheer, that's what the universe decided to do. And I think that also applies in some ways where that's like it's greater than the sum of its parts. A rainbow isn't mere water and light. It's like it is, but it's also more than that. But yeah, anyway. I probably didn't whatever, but it's fine. Temperance and the Queen of Pentacles. This isn't the queen. This is the second queen because the Queen of Pentacles I saw last time was the first one that was holding up the pinnacle. This one got it. And now someone is coming asking the queen for something, and the queen is not even looking at him. Sorry. There's a white peacock here. And then with Temperance, Temperance no longer has anything to do because this change in metamorphosis has already happened. These are the two cards that came out of the Prime Muse, Temperance and the Queen of Pentacles. Both, like the Queen of Pentacles has already received her pinnacle. Temperance has already done its balancing. Bottom of the deck is the Hanged Man, who is no longer hanging from the tree. And so, in some ways, it feels like the completion, like the lessons are done. It's almost like we know everything that we need to know, or we've been exposed to everything that we need to be aware of. Um, we have everything we need. All that's left is what we'll decide in certain moments. Okay. These are such interesting cards. Hola. Hey Tamana, how are you doing? I'm sleepy. Sorry. How are you? I am tired though. Where's this? Oh, here it is. I was like, where's this box? Not bad. Glad to hear it. Me too. I am very not bad. I could almost say I'm good. So, final cards from the Diceology. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Excuse me. I am a Pisces, Sun, Taurus, Moon, and Rising. So, sleep. I'm a sleeper. I got the Pisces dream and the Taurus sleep. Oh, look at this. Interesting how that card came out. Oh, you're a Leo? Leo is a sign that I've found so much love for recently. The Eight of Hearts, an explosive vision, a nurturing light, and burning passion. The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Hearts, a stargate that leads to fantastic places, correcting what has been misused and stabilizing timelines. So these two together are pretty powerful. Um, but with like Eight of Hearts, Eight of Cups, and the Ten of Hearts, Ten of Cups, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's about choice. It is, but with like Temperance being done and the Queen of Pentacles already having received, it feels like it's less about like taking leaps and like Two of Swords choices, and it's more about like we already have everything instilled inside of us. Are we going to use it? Are we going to be it? Are we going to embody it? Are we going to act like we don't whatever? And it feels like because the 10 of clubs came out, nearly awakened hidden power and whatever else, and it feels like it goes back to that energy of like if there are certain passions or desires that we have, for some reason it's all about wands energy. And it's interesting because again nothing is in Leo. We have Saturn in Aquarius, the North Node and the Sun, Uranus in Taurus, the South Node, the Moon in Scorpio. Nothing is in Leo. That's the only fixed sign that doesn't hold anything. And again, fire was the only thing that survived death's procession because fire wasn't there. And so it feels like fire is the key. It's like the way we handle or interact with the element of fire will sort of determine how everything else either works together to support that or if everything will sort of like clash with each other. And it's very, oh, I gotta find it now. What is it? Two, collision or cohesion? I think it's the birth. It's right here. It's the King of Diamonds, a bell that brings the physical and intangible into harmony as it pulses out into the universe. Collision or cohesion. Will they work together or will they work against each other? But it feels like with that explosive vision, it has the potential to just like when it's working together, when it's cohesive, it's miraculous, I guess. Miraculous is the easiest. It feels like the most succinct and accurate way to put it. And it's a miracle that you would have participated in the creation of like making. So take that as it resonates. When it resonates, if it resonates, and if it don't take it. You know what I mean? Feels like a person. Oh, well, I'm glad it resonates. All right. See ya, Holly. Enjoy your meeting. I'm gonna get off of here. I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. It was nice to see you, Tamana and Holly. I hope you are all acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope, I don't know, I guess I hope that you give yourself the opportunity to show yourself not only how amazing and capable you are, but I hope you give yourself the opportunity to feel how loved you are. And I will catch y'all next time. No problem. Bye.